This is Truthful Manipulation, where truth is the truth and reality is made real and clear to understand. I'm Dave Kelsey, and I'm here today with my co-host, H. Daniel Mujahid.
Welcome back to Truthful Manipulation. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Dave.
Today, we are asking a question that is bigger than politics. It's bigger than leadership, bigger than public image, and even bigger than public relations. Today's question is this: what's the actual cost of lost integrity to we, the people?
And that's not a small question, is it, Daniel? Because when integrity is lost at the top, the damage never stops at the top. It rolls downhill. It reaches families, workers, community, and trust itself.
And that's the part people really don't take into account, Dave. You know, when the truth gets bent, let's say, when promises become theater, when images actually just become more important than honesty, the most powerful people are usually not the ones carrying the heaviest burden. It's we, the people. We carry it.
Yeah, we carry it in different ways, though. We carry it in confusion, in division, in distrust, and today in exhaustion. And we carry it in the creeping feeling that truth itself is becoming negotiable.
Okay, so Dave, today I think I'm going to push you a little bit here.
Push away, Daniel.
Let me challenge you the way ordinary people would challenge you. I'm going to ask you what this really costs. Who pays? How do they pay? How do we pay? And why a country becomes more unstable when integrity is treated like a slogan instead of a standard.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. Lost integrity is never just a character issue. It becomes a public burden.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Let's start with the basics. People hear the word integrity, and sometimes they just tune it out. It sounds soft. It sounds, ceremonial. It sounds like one of those words people use when they want to sound respectable. So tell me plainly, Dave, what is integrity?
Integrity is alignment. It's when our words, our motives, our values, and our actions line up. Not when it's easy, when it costs you something.
Okay, then, if that's the case, what is lost integrity?
Lost integrity is when truth becomes a tool instead of a duty. It becomes the question changes from what's right to what works for me. It's when people stop serving truth and start serving narrative.
Okay, so you're saying that once this happens, the consequences don't stay private?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. We've got to stop talking about integrity like it's a private virtue with private consequences. When integrity is lost in leadership, in institutions, in influence, in culture, ordinary people pay the bill.
Now, hold on, Dave. You know, somebody listening to this might say, come on, Dave. People have lied forever. Institutions have, spun stuff forever. Why is this such a national emergency now?
Because when lying becomes normal and spinning becomes standard and manipulation becomes the operating system, people lose trust in the ground that we're standing on. That changes everything.
Everything?
Everything. Because trust is invisible infrastructure. If you don't see it, but you know the second it starts cracking, once trust cracks, families feel it, communities feel it, businesses feel it, citizens feel it. and the whole country starts wobbling.
So you're saying integrity is not decoration?
No, integrity's not wallpaper, it's the beams that the house are built on. If this conversation's hitting home, then our book, Truthful Manipulation, A Roadmap to Live By, is for you. It's for people who want to understand deception, resist manipulation, and live with stronger moral clarity in a world full of noise. And if you're tired of spin, tired of confusion, and ready to think deeper and live stronger, get the book and stay with us on the Truthful Manipulation Podcast. And now back to the show.
And when the beams start to rot,
the house may still look impressive for a while, but everybody inside's one storm away from finding out what was hidden.
Well, that's the opening warning right there, Dave. The public is living under structures it did not build, but it still suffers when those structures weaken.
You're exactly right.
Okay. Well, let's get specific. You keep saying, we the people pay. Who pays? How do they pay? Where does the bill show up, Dave?
The workers pay, the parents pay, the child pays, the small business owner pays, the honest citizen pays, the family trying to hold itself together pays.
Break that down a little bit for us, Dave.
Well, people pay emotionally first because now they have to sort the truth from theater all day long. Or every statement gets scanned, every promise gets doubted. Every instruction gets questioned. Every motive becomes suspicious.
So you're saying public dishonesty creates a private fatigue in the people?
Exactly. People get tired, cynical, numb. And when enough people get numb, manipulation gets way easier.
Keep going with that line of reasoning.
People also pay rationally. Trust erodes faster. Families divide more easily. Friendships strain quickly. Communities lose the assumption of good faith.
Yep, I hear you. That's because everybody starts thinking everybody else is working an angle.
That's right. Then people pay economically. Trust matters in business. Trust matters in contracts. Trust matters in teams. Trust matters in markets. If trust is unstable, cooperation gets weaker.
Would you say morally too?
That may be the deepest cost of all. Children are watching. Young adults are watching. Citizens are watching. They learn not just from what leaders say, they learn from what culture rewards.
Culture rewards. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
If dishonesty keeps winning, people begin to assume character is optional. If manipulation keeps being rewarded, people start admiring cleverness more than conscience.
Here, you can say that again. When a culture rewards manipulation and it teaches people to admire, cleverness more than character. And once that, lesson settles in, what?
Then you're not dealing with just isolated dishonesty anymore. You're training a people to live without moral ballast.
That's the danger right there, Dave. Yep. To our listeners, it's not just that trust is damaged, but really the people we begin adapting to the damage as though it's normal.
And the moment dishonesty becomes expected, the people are already carrying more than they realize.
Let me take a sharp turn here, Dave. Isn't part of the problem that people have gotten very good at performing integrity versus having it?
Absolutely.
Hmm. Would you speak to that?
We're living in an age of polished language, curated humility, selective outrage, and strategic morality. People know how to sound principled without actually being principled.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is certainly clearly what we would have to call dangerous.
Very dangerous, Daniel. Open corruption at least announces itself. Performed integrity hides behind respectable words and has to be hidden in the shadows.
So some of the most manipulative people in the room may be the people most fluent in moral language, huh?
That's exactly right. They know how to say accountability. They know how to say unity. They know how to say service. They know how to say truth, but they use those words like props.
And then in the ordinary people, they and we hear the language and we want to believe it, huh?
Yes, yes. And then when the gap between the words and the actions get exposed, the damage is deeper than disappointment. It becomes corrosion.
Okay. Corrosion of what, Dave?
Corrosion of belief itself. People stop believing anything means what they say. Good faith begins to die, and once good faith dies, suspicion takes over.
I don't think what replaces good faith? Anything?
Noise, tribalism, framing, manipulation, performance, and division.
So the real fight isn't just over opinions. It's probably over whether truth still has any authority around America.
That's exactly right, Daniel. Once truth becomes just another weapon, everything becomes marketing. Everything becomes spin, and everything becomes a battle over narrative control.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would submit that sounds like a country that is hard to live in. That sounds like a country that it would be hard to raise your children in.
If you believe truth matters, stay connected with us through Truthful Manipulation. Our podcast and our book, Truthful Manipulation, A Roadmap to Live By, are built to help people recognize deception, protect their integrity, and lead with moral clarity in a manipulative world. Read the book, share the show, and be part of a conversation that refuses to let truth become optional. And now back to the show.
All right, Dave, rapid fire. I'm going to give you situations. You tell me how lost integrity lands on ordinary people. Quick and sharp.
Let's do it.
Okay. A leader says one thing publicly and does another thing privately.
People learn that promises are theater.
Okay. An institution hides the truth to protect itself.
People lose confidence that fairness applies equally.
Facts get bent to serve a narrative.
People stop trusting information and start living in confusion, which is exactly where we're at today.
Let's keep going with this. Rules are enforced selectively.
People learn that power matters more than principle.
Public figure gets rewarded after repeated dishonesty.
People absorb the message that character is optional if influence is high enough.
Let me shift this a little bit here, Dave. A parent brings out that same kind of dishonesty at home.
The child learns instability before they learn trust.
A boss manipulates a team with half truth.
The workplace becomes anxious, divided, and brittle.
Okay. A culture celebrates image over substance.
This is funny almost. People start confusing visibility with virtue.
What's worse, Dave? Open dishonesty or manipulation disguised as moral concern?
Manipulation disguised as moral concern. because it recruits truth before it betrays it.
Would you say that leaves a scar, Dave?
A deep scar. Open dishonesty makes people defensive. Moral disguise makes people doubtful of goodness itself.
Yeah, that's how a population gets worn down. It's usually by deception, and that deception can even be smiling right at you. That's a line there, Dave.
Yeah, because it's true.
Well, now let me challenge you from a different angle. If lost integrity is this destructive as you've described, why do people tolerate it? Or why do citizens excuse it, Dave? Why do communities adapt to it? Why do institutions keep functioning around it?
Because people get tired. Because fear makes compromise look practical. Because comfort duels moral urgency. Because partisanship makes people excuse on their side what they'd condemn on the other side.
That's strong, Dave.
And because some people would rather protect the tribe than protect the truth, that's where we are today.
So the people, the public, is not always just the victim, huh? Sometimes the public becomes the enabler.
Sometimes, yes, because we can't talk honesty about integrity in public life without asking ordinary people questions like reward, excuse, repost, defend, and normalize.
That's a little bit uncomfortable there, Dave.
Good, it should be. A culture doesn't lose integrity only because powerful people lie. It also loses integrity because enough ordinary people decide the lie is useful
Useful as inconvenient.
or emotionally satisfied or politically useful or beneficial in the short term.
So this real fight is not just fi- how to fix them; it's also how to examine ourselves, huh?
That's exactly right. Truth gets real when it corrects your side, not just the other side.
Let me direct this one to our listeners. What are you excusing because it benefits your team? What are you overlooking because the manipulator sounds like your side, or he's on your side even? What are you repeating because it confirms what you already wanted to believe?
Anybody can love truth when truth flatters them. Integrity shows up when truth corrects you.
Hmm. Let's go a little deeper if we can here, Dave. What does lost integrity cost the next generation?
It costs them a stable example. Children learn what adults reward. If they see deception winning, image beating character, manipulation excused as strategy, they adapt to that world.
And by that, you mean that they inherit damaged definitions?
Exactly. They beginning they begin thinking strength means domination. Leadership means branding. Honesty means weakness. And integrity means something you talk about when you're losing.
I would say that most in our audience would find that to be a dangerous idea, a dangerous position to take, Dave.
It's not dangerous, Daniel. It's devastating. When a culture teaches children to admire cleverness more than conscious, it's planting confusion for years to come.
I think parents are beginning to feel that pressure every day.
Yes, they do. Parents are trying to teach truth in a culture that rewards distortion, trying to teach humility in a culture obsessed with performance, and trying to teach trustworthiness in a world that keeps advertising strategic dishonesty.
So in the real world, or in the real time, or even in the real sense of what you're suggesting, parents are doing cleanup work for a mess that they didn't even create.
That's exactly right. That's why this isn't academic. This is kitchen table stuff, dinner table stuff. Why are my children becoming stuff?
And when integrity weakens in public life, private life probably gets harder too, huh?
Always. Public rot doesn't stay public, it enters expectations, it enters language, it enters habits, it enters the emotional climate, and it's hard to get rid of once it's there.
Remind me of that point that was made in that movie Sinners. Once it enters the emotional climate, everybody breathes it, huh? Let's talk about that phrase, we the people. Why does that matter here, Dave?
Because we the people means public life is supposed to exist in service to the people, not in manipulation of the people.
Oh, that's a distinction there for sure.
It's a huge distinction. It means citizens are supposed to be told the truth, not emotionally managed, respected, not used, served, not manipulated.
And what about when integrity is lost?
And then we, the people, slowly become we, the managed, we, the divided, we, the marketed to, we, the provoked, and we, the manipulated.
That's a hard reality there, Dave.
It should be. Because without integrity, people stop being treated as citizens worthy of truth and start being treated like audiences to control.
So then the people pay not only in damage, but in their dignity, huh?
That's exactly right, Daniel. Lost integrity robs people of clarity and then blames them for being confused. It destabilizes truth, then exploits distrust. It creates division and then campaigns on the chaos.
So then manipulation itself, it takes on an orbit, almost a cycle, huh?
That's correct. Because it confuses the people, it agitates the people, it divides the people, and then it presents yourself as the answer to the damage you help deepen.
Well, that's an ugly cycle right there, Dave.
And that's why the fight for integrity is really a fight for human dignity. To tell the truth to people, to respect them, to manipulate them is to use them.
Say that again. To tell the truth to people is to respect them. And then you said to manipulate them is to use them. All right, Dave. Final question. No decoration, no wondering. What is the cost of lost integrity to we the people?
The cost is this: we lose trust, and without trust, everything gets heavier. We lose clarity, and without clarity, manipulation gets easier. We lose unity, and without unity, division gets cheaper to produce. We lose confidence in words, and without confidence in words, promises become noise. We lose faith and fairness. Without faith and fairness, resentment grows. We lose examples worth following, and without examples worth following, the next generation learns the wrong lessons. And we lose dignity because people stop being treated as citizens worthy of truth and start being treated as tools to be moved.
Is that your final answer, Dave?
Yes. And let me add one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lost integrity does not merely damage the guilty, it burdens the innocent. That's why it matters so much. The people who play fast and loose with the truth are not only living with the consequences, Everybody downstream has to drink that water.
That is the line we should end on, Dave, right there.
Because it's true. So protect integrity where you are. Demand it where you can. Model it in your own life. Teach it to your children. Refuse to excuse absent just because the liar sounds useful to you.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been Truthful Manipulation.
I'm Dave here with Daniel this week, and we want to thank you for listening to Truthful Manipulation. Please comment on today's show at truthfulmanipulation@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at truthfulmanipulation.com. Pick up a copy of our book, Truthful Manipulation, A Roadmap to Live By. It'll help you see and get through these manipulations that are in your life. Thank you very much for listening this week. Have a fantastic week.